Welcome to Bone
of
of
my
My
bone,
Bones, Marriage
marriage
of
of the
the Heart.
heart.
This is my heart. See, this is
We
my
are your hosts. I am Katina
and
Robinson.
I'm Mr. Ronnie Robinson.
And let us tell you a little bit about Bone of My Bone, Marriage of the Heart, and where the scriptures come from that creates the name Bone of My Bone, Marriage of the Heart.
Yes.
And it's starting with Genesis chapter 2, verse 23 and 24.
And now Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, marriage. Oh, let me start over. Bleep, bleeper.
Bleeper.
And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Verse 24. That was 23, but now 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall
Cleave.
unto his wife, and
Come
they
on,
shall be
cleave, baby.
one flesh.
One flesh, one
One
flesh.
flesh.
That's what we are. One flesh, one flesh.
Welcome
Yes. And so the theme of Bone of My Bone, Marriage of the Heart is love is worth fighting for.
Yes.
That is our theme. So, hey, you guys, y'all see the title? That's what we're talking about tonight.
Yes.
As you come on, go ahead and say hello because I see the numbers rising. But if you don't make a comment, all I can do is see the numbers. I won't know
Make
who's
a comment
there.
or ask a question. We in the house.
Yes.
We in the house.
We are in the house.
I
We
see
are
you,
in
Nate
the
Williams.
house. Yes. And so we're talking tonight about how do you handle conflict. Let's talk, y'all. I know y'all can chime in on this one. I know you got questions. Come on in.
How do you handle conflict?
How do you handle it?
Yeah,
How
married
do you
couples out
handle
there,
it?
come
How
on,
do
join
you
in.
handle
Married
it?
couples. I see a lot of you on TikTok, married couples doing y'all show. Y'all join in. Let's talk about this thing. Let's talk
Yes.
about how
We
do
wanna
you deal with
collaborate.
conflict? Yeah. How do you handle conflict? How you doing? How you doing?
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna dive into it, y'all. I'm operating the media behind this. So if you see my head down, that's why, because I am actually looking at questions, because sometimes like on our platform, because of the platform that we stream on, it'll show us, like I say, numbers, but you can't see the comments. So I have to look at other devices to see the comments and answer the comments. So you see my head down. It ain't I'm ignoring anybody. I am watching social media and
she better not be ignoring me. It's gonna be a conflict.
It's gonna be a conflict.
It's gonna be a conflict.
Yes. But yeah, so how do you handle conflict? Like we get that question all the time. Of course, those that don't know us, let's talk a little bit about who we are, baby. Just for those that are on that maybe don't know us and just happen to run across our page. We are Ronnie and Katina Robinson, as we said earlier. We are the owners of and the marriage counselors. We are marriage counselors of Bone of My Bone, Marriage of the Heart, which we say B.O.M.B marriage for short. And we have been married. We're celebrating our 23rd anniversary on the
handling these conflicts, y'all. I'm handling these conflicts.
The 22nd of this month. And we share, a lot about our testimony is we're a blended family because we both was previously married. So we didn't get it right the first time.
Nope.
So we know what it's like to be married to the person you chose. Mm-hmm. And then we know what it's like to be married to the God ordained spouse that God has for you, right? Yes. And so we just come on and share our expertise of experience versus book knowledge, because we are marriage counselors, so we do have certifications, and we are ordained ministers, so we counsel couples, we married couples, we do premarital counseling. So we cover all those grounds because that is what we do. And so if you have any questions for us personally, please put it on there and we would love to answer your questions. But in the meantime, let's talk about it. Let's talk about
how do you handle conflict.
Yeah, go ahead, baby.
Well, one thing about it is communications, y'all. let's start with that. When you handling conflicts in your marriage, first of all, get on the same playing field of communications. Start right there. Although you may disagree on some things at that moment or agree to disagree, but the bottom line is got to start with communications. It's got to start right there. And
Hey,
dealing
Kim.
and dealing with my wife on conflicts, I'm more of the type, and she knows, she can vouch for me, that I'm ready to solve the issue, get it over, and let's move on. Because I don't like, to me, I feel like I'm giving the devil some plans to change things and corrupt things. If I hold on and not talk about it, if I hold on later and all this, no, let's just get it out, deal with it. Let's get this conflict going and talk about it and deal with it. That's me.
Yes.
Now my wife is different on this.
And on the other hand, I'm just the opposite. Like when we first got married, there was something we really had to come to an agreement with, because my husband is the type that if the argument get heated or whatever, let's work through it right then.
Yes.
I'm the type that I need to step away from it for a minute, because if I don't step away, I may say something that's really hurtful, really mean, and I'm saying it out of my emotions, out of my flesh. I'm not saying it because that's the way I may really feel, but I'm saying it out of anger or frustration. And so we had to learn the way that we deal with conflict is, hold on, baby, give me a minute. Like I would tell him, I said, let me go and just give me some quiet time and even spend time with God. Because, I don't know about you, but God would tell me about myself real quick. When I'm wrong, when I'm in the wrong, when I need to apologize, when I need to pray for my husband or whatever it may be. If you just give me a minute to be quiet and go sit in the presence of God, or even sometimes just sit in my emotions or feelings and not talk, then I'm better to deal with that way. But if you just he was the type that baby, come on, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and get it resolved so we can move on with life. And he had to learn that about me. It's like, no, that wasn't my method. Like, that don't work for me. I need a minute. Give me my minute and let me just calm down. Now, what we never have did in all the years, and like I said, we're going into our 23rd year married, what we've never allowed ourselves to do is to go to bed angry at each other. Yeah, never.
That's a good point.
Like, we literally would stay up to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning if that's what it takes to get whatever resolved or calmed enough that we're not angry. Now, we can be upset at each other. Like, if you happen to have a disagreement and you just can't seem to get on the same page with something, that's one thing. But to be angry, no, we can't go. No, ain't no going to sleep in this house. No, if somebody angry, even the Bible tells us not to go to bed angry. And so that's something we don't play about. And then, I'm a retired nurse, so been in the medical field the majority of my adult life, knowing how, seeing so much death, that's something we never want to take a chance with. Because you never know. You go to bed angry, and what if one of y'all don't wake up? You have to think. I know that's deep, and it sounds really oh my goodness, that's scary, but that's reality. And so you don't want to ever go to bed angry. Get whatever Amen. It is resolved before you go to bed. And then, like I said, it don't have to be, let me say it like this. It don't have to be fully resolved, but come to a place where at least you can say, let's agree to disagree on this and move forward, And so that's the way, one of the things we had to learn early in our marriage when it came to dealing with conflict.
And the next thing that I suggest, that you always have some type of resolution. Come to agreement on, if you're going to go to bed and you're going to still be frustrated about it a little bit, not angry, but just, it's still something we need to discuss. Just that's part of the resolution of things, getting it together, talking about it, and not just yelling at each other and all these things. Most of the times, I think about over the 23 years, baby.
Share how to handle conflict in marriage. Share your tips. Go ahead, baby.
Well, the first tip that I said was communications. You got to have great communications, and And the thing with my wife and I, we pour into other people so much about their marriages and things like that. Sometimes we have to get poured into, and and so on communications, we have to look for someone to pour into us and encourage our marriage. And not saying we have problems, but you want to hear some positivity, or you need something to get shaved off, or iron sharpens iron. So
marriage requires maintenance.
Yes,
like we tell people all
Absolutely.
the time, you don't have to come to us as marriage counselors because your marriage is in trouble. Come and get maintenance care.
Yes.
Sometimes you just need someone standing out looking in to see something that you can't see. Because a lot of time, when it comes to husband and wife, you see it your way, he see it his way, and sometimes you just need that godly counsel and I say godly because, like I said, what we do in our counseling is God first, and we are ordained ministers also. And so, like, we're not just coming to you with just book. I'm not saying that that's wrong to just come and give people information based on the books. What I'm saying is you need that godly component where the Holy Spirit can give you revelations about somebody you're counseling that they have not told you anything. And so you need that insight on that, because we can't go based on the book. That's just like me, like I said, being a retired nurse. I could not just base everything I do on the books. Sometimes you have to think through that situation, and sometimes you have to base that situation upon experience with another patient or another situation or another code you walk through. And so, those are the things you have to think about. And so you don't ever what you don't want to do with conflict is simply just let it keep building up. You keep letting it build up. You keep sweeping it on the carpet. You keep sweeping it on the carpet.
Yes.
You sweep it on the carpet. Guess what? That eventually becomes a mountain. You keep sweeping on the carpet, it's getting higher and higher and higher and higher. Before you know it, it's a mountain division between y'all because you swept so much under the carpet that now it's become the mountain, and now you got to deal with that mountain. And so, be very mindful of people, that's giving you, be very mindful, first of all, the counsel you get from people. Like, don't let your in-laws in your marriage. Don't be running to your mom or your dad about your marital problems. Like, because y'all as a husband and wife are going to work through some things. And then if you told all your siblings, your mom and daddy about your spouse, then they still might be looking upside your spouse's head when y'all are moved past that. So be mindful of sharing with your family. It's better to have counselors to pour into, and other people that have no connection whatsoever.
That's great. How do you handle conflict?
Yes.
One of the things how you handle it is that you got to take it to prayer. You got to be on one accord in your household. Who you going to serve, how you going to serve, and some of the standards that you want while you're going through the conflict. Sometimes you may have to fast. You may have to about something, if it's a bill or something, or trying to get something or buy something that you got conflict on getting. You pray about it, you fast about it. And that's one thing that we need to do when it comes to conflicts in marriages, that we need to get on one accord. Are we in Christ with our marriage? Are we loving and doing and making decisions through Christ, or do we just do things on our own recognizances? And that's the thing that get people in marriages in trouble. They always let their feelings and their flesh get involved. And instead of taking it spiritual, like my wife and I, we have a trigger word that we use, a statement that we use to really bring us in on conflicts and things that, okay, hear me from the Spirit.
Yes.
And then once my wife say that, or I say that to her, we immediately drop everything, every other thought, and let's just focus on what you got to say and my return rebuttal of it. And so that's another way that you can deal with conflicts. Have a trigger word,
safe word,
a safe word. That's a good way of putting it. A safe
trigger word. We don't want trigger words.
A safe word that y'all can come together on. Like, okay, when my baby say that, Okay, I'm focused. Let's talk about this thing and leave everything else outside the door.
And so, in marriage, you hear people say marriage is 50-50. That is a lie. Don't believe it. Don't believe the hype. Marriage should not be 50-50. It should be 100-100.
Yes.
You're not always going to be given 100. Your spouse not always going to be given 100. Sometimes I may be giving 80 and my husband may be giving 20, or he may be giving 90 and I may be giving 10. There's different seasons and different times throughout your life, throughout the marriage seasons, that it's not going to be 50-50. It's never supposed to be 50-50. We always supposed to be giving 100-100, because who wants half of you?
Right.
Don't nobody want half of you, and you don't want nobody to have half of.
You know what I say? I always say, if you come in 50-50, that means where's the other 50?
Exactly.
Are you thinking about that? I don't know if I really care about this situation with her. I'm gonna leave 50% out there to mess around, do things like that. So it's best to come in 100-100. And this is very important, y'all. Write this one down. Like my wife said earlier, get counseling.
Yes.
If you haven't been married before, get counseling from the get-go. Sit down at the table and throw all the marbles on the table, and y'all decide what y'all gonna keep on that table and take off the table, and also agree to disagree about something on the table. But you all can discuss it, because I'm telling you, jumping in a marriage and really don't know that partner, the first time you get into this, how do you handle conflict situation? You're gonna look upside your partner's head and say, "Who are you? Who did I marry? What is this? What is this person I see now?" That's why it's so important to come to the table and get counseling. Yes. And like my wife said early in the program, go to someone that don't know you or her or you, and sit down with them where they can not be biased to you or her, but really, really bring out everything y'all need to talk about and put it on the table. So it's very important to get counseling, y'all. Very important.
And marriage is a compromise. Like, it shouldn't be about just one person. Like it can't be all about me. It can't be all about my husband. It's a compromise. And when you run across people that say they don't argue,
watch out.
Watch that. Be very cautious about any couple that tells you they don't marry. I mean, they don't argue, because arguing or disagreeing is healthy. That's a healthy part of a marriage. Yes. And if you don't ever argue in your marriage or disagree in a marriage, that means one person or the other person is just going along with the other.
Right.
They're just existing. They're just settling. They're not actively involved in that relationship, because there's nowhere in the world you're going to be married for years and never argue or disagree. Something is wrong if somebody tells you that. Disagreeing, having conflict, having where you don't see on the same page, that's healthy. That's normal. You got two adults. Think about it, you guys. You got two adults that's coming from two totally different households, two totally different upbringings, two totally different backgrounds, maybe different nationalities. I mean, you got culture things, you got, depending on what denomination you were in or what religion you in, you got all of those things that this person has and this person have, and you're bringing them together as one. So you want to think that those two people with both of their own minds, both of their own feelings, emotions, going to come together, and you're going to see eye to eye on everything. It's not going to happen. And if you set yourself up in a marriage to think that that's the case, then you're setting yourself up to fail. Yeah. You got to learn before you get married. And like my husband was just saying earlier, you need counseling. It's so many people now that we talk to, that we counsel, that is married, been married for years. Some people older than we are, and didn't get counseling, and now needing counseling. I ain't saying maintenance work. I'm saying needing counseling, because they never learned the things that you should have learned prior to going into the marriage, about how to deal with conflict, how to deal with communication. Because one of the things that we do before we counsel anyone, we have you to take an assessment test. So before we even come to the table with you, that's one of the requirements. You got to take the assessment test. That way we get to see, and you as a couple get to see what's your strengths, what's your weakness, where y'all see eye to eye, like where are you on this, where are you on that. Otherwise, those are conversations that don't be had. Like people don't have those conversations about those things. You gotta plan ahead. Like with life, everything you gotta plan ahead. You can't wait till it happened and then, oh my God, we don't know what to do because you have not thought it through, or you have not communicated it with your spouse, or you never talked about it. Like for instance, use kids as example. You may marry somebody and just assume they want kids. Y'all never really had that conversation, right? And you assume they want kids and they assume you don't want kids, or vice versa. Now you're at a point where the woman is having baby fever and she just assumed her husband was going to want kids and he never want kids.
That is a conflict, y'all.
That is a huge conflict. And now you're forced with, okay, how do we handle this? I want kids. He don't want kids. I just assumed he was going to want kids. And now, trust me, talking from experience, you never want to have kids by someone that really don't want them. You don't. They don't even know how to be actively involved as a parent. They don't even know how to be a parent. So you do not want to have kids with someone that does not want kids, because they will resent you or those kids.
Get counseling.
And these are things that sometimes people don't talk about. Yeah. Like they just assume. You can't assume anything. That was one of the big things I know I learned in nursing school. You don't assume nothing. You get the facts. And so that's stuff that you have to talk about. So think about it. Couples that's on right now, or people even that will catch the replay.
Share the video.
Yes, please share the video, whether you're on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. Go ahead and comment and share. But think about in your marriage right now, those that are watching us that are married, think about some of the things that happened within your marriage and you didn't talk about those. Like there's no way you can cover everything. And I'll share a great example of an incident that my husband and I walked through that wasn't really something that we talked about, but when it happened, we had to talk about it. So you guys chime in, make comments, let us know if there's something in your marriage that you've walked through that you wish you had talked about in advance.
And how do you handle conflict?
Yes. So the incident that I'm referring to is when in our marriage, when I lost my sister. That was the first time I had lost a relative that close to me, since my husband and I had been married. And he really just didn't know how to handle me. Like he didn't know whether I wanted to cuddle more and be loved on more, or just kind of give me space, or he didn't know how to handle me in that sense. And so he was upfront and honest, and he was like, baby, please just tell me exactly what you need from me right now, because I really don't know. I don't want to overcrowd you by just overly trying to show you love. But then again, I don't want you to feel like I'm not here for you through this period. And so we had to walk through that. And thank God we did, because then, years later, I lost my mom. So then he knew how to, we lost your mom first after. Yeah. So it was my sister, and then your mom, and then your sister, and then my mom. And so because we walked through that and really kind of got firsthand experience, through firsthand experience, then we knew how to deal with it. But that's something we didn't really talk about. We didn't talk about like how do you handle each other when they lose a loved one that's close to you.
Well, I want to say this though. Let's back up. Let's back up on
Okay.
that. One thing about it, I studied my wife. When I met her and I wanted to
Yes, you
date her,
did,
I
baby.
studied my wife
Yes, you
on
did.
everything. But except you cannot study someone on if they hadn't lost a loved one.
Exactly.
So that's the thing that I was at conflict. It's like, man, I don't know how to deal with this because
Yeah.
it's been so good in our marriage all these years, you know. And I'm gonna say y'all good all these years. Every year have been great. It's been
Amen.
outside things that we have to love each other through type of
Yes.
deal. But other than that, I knew my wife, but I didn't know her at this level. So that's why that it was kind of conflicting because I didn't know, like she said, to bring to cuddle more, to love her more, to show all that. She knew I got all that, but it's just I had to learn how to balance it.
Yeah.
Through those deceased out of our family, I had to learn how to balance on dealing with her, and that's a
Okay.
lot of things that I have to do now. That we have to balance each other when it comes to conflict, because
Mhm.
it's some things she's better at, some things I'm better at, and so,
Exactly.
but I got to, my pride. I got to drop my pride on some things.
Mhm.
Like, and I'm gonna give you a good example. My wife been hurt twice as a nurse. Yeah, I mean, to the point that she had to retire from it. But now think about this. I could have say, hey, so what? Mop this floor now if you need mopping. Lift something heavy if you need to lift. But I understood the conflict with that.
Mhm.
That this where I gotta step up to the plate.
Mhm.
I don't need my wife mopping the floor when their back has already been damaged.
Mhm.
So you have to, the conflict is you have to understand your partner, your friend,
Mhm.
your wife of your kids and grandkids. You got to honor that and understand that some roles you may have to take in this conflict. I don't want my wife lifting heavy things. I don't want her getting up on stuff. I don't want her roller skate. I don't want her hiking. It's things that I have to stay in conflict because she want to do those things,
I do.
but it's in conflict, but it's a passive aggressive. Well, let's say aggressive passive type. She aggressive about it, but I have to be passionate about it and let her know that no,
Yeah,
baby, it's
no,
fine.
this
We don't
ain't
have
for
to do
you,
it.
baby. This
Right.
ain't for you no
So
more. You can't do this anymore.
right.
You have to
So
use wisdom.
it's conflicts that's gonna arise in your marriage. Like my wife said, there are seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing you got to do, you got to love each other through those seasons. And
Yes.
they may be rainy, stormy, good, sunny, but you got to learn how to do it together and love each other going through conflicts. See, conflicts
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be negative all the time. They can be positive when you know how to go in these conflicts together.
Yeah.
And that's what we have learned and mastered. I'm gonna have to say we have mastered that, because anybody that know the Robinsons, bone of my bone, marriage at heart, wherever we are, we're gonna exemplify what love is all about. We ain't shame. We bold in what we do when it comes to love.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna shower her no matter where we are. So we
That's
have
right.
no conflict with that.
And so, yeah, you have to just learn how to work through conflict healthy,
Yeah.
and you grow through it. It grows you up, you guys. It really does when you walk through different things, because life is gonna life.
Yes.
That is one of my sayings, and my husband be like, "Yeah, life be life. Life is gonna happen. Things in life is gonna happen that we have no control of, and it hurts. It's things that hurt. It's things that kind of throw you off your game. It's things that change up the dynamics of your marriage, or your the way you thought it was going to be. Like we thought, I would get the work for years and years and years. I didn't know I would end up getting injured and have to do an early retirement. That was a big adjustment, because like literally we went from two incomes to one, and we had to figure out how to make that work. And so, you have to learn to grow with the seasons. You have to learn to grow with the seasons, because that's the thing. Seasons are going to happen. season. We can't do nothing to stop winter, spring, summer, fall. You're going to get those seasons depending on what part of the world you live in, how they are. Like, we live in Georgia. We get mild seasons. We're from Arkansas.
Yeah,
Arkansas
mild.
get extreme seasons. Like Arkansas get extreme heat.
Extreme.
Arkansas get extreme hot in the summer. It might be in the high hundreds and or mid hundreds or low hundreds. And then in the winter, you're gonna get the ice, you're gonna get the snow, you're gonna get the sleet.
8 degrees, maybe 1 with your wind chill. You'll get that in Arkansas.
But in Georgia, you don't get that kind of weather. You don't get those seasons. So just like we can't change the seasons in the natural, we can't change seasons in our marriage. You have to flow with the seasons. You have to, just like far as the weather, you have to dress according to the seasons, right? Like you're not going to go out in the winter with shorts and a t-shirt on. A normal person wouldn't generally do that. And so in a marriage, it's the same way. When seasons change, you have to change with the seasons. You have to flow with the seasons. Like if it's a season that came that you didn't expect, like for instance, some people that get married, they don't expect to have kids for 3 years. They get a child within the first year. They have to adjust to that season. That season just changed. It's changed quickly for them. So, and then with us being a blended family, we had to adjust to a lot of different seasons because not only are we being the parent, we got to co-parent with the other parent.
Right.
And so those are seasons we had to adjust to.
Conflicts.
Yes, a lot of conflicts that we had to walk through, but we did it together. Like I figured out what was his strengths. He figured out what was my strengths, and we pulled on those strengths. So where he is stronger at, hey, I lay back. I kind of lay it back and say, baby, I'm gonna let you have that one because that ain't my strength. And vice versa. Where my strengths are, he leaned more into, he like, baby, that's your strength. I'm gonna let you, deal with that one. And that's what you have to do, because marriage is never about competition.
Nope.
It's about complementing.
You need to say that again.
Marriage is never about competition. It's about complementing. You got to be able to compliment your spouse to say, baby, I'm fine with you being, like, for instance, I use as an example, dealing with finances.
With you being bald.
Yes. Or dealing with finance. When we first got married, finances, no. Different, no. And he had to be fine with saying, okay, baby, I'm gonna have to be all right with helping, bringing in the money, but not necessarily managing it, because that's not my strength. Nope. But he had to come to the grips with that and say, okay, you're strong in that area, so I'm gonna let you have it and see where it goes. And so
I'm a big spender.
Yes,
if I see something I like, I'm gonna go for
it. Yes. I had to reel him in. Even with me, for me, like he will.
She said she had to reel me in. I'm some big catch on it.
I had to reel you in, baby, because even like for me, he would go shopping for me. Like I'm just using this example, y'all. I remember when we were engaged, and like for my birthday, like he went and bought my whole outfit, right? And I never knew, the cost of it or anything, because we was engaged then. So like I didn't know where all his money was going and how much he was spending and all that. Later years, when I saw the receipt for how much that dress cost, I'm like, it made me gas, because I was a single parent with raising 3 kids. My focus was on my kids. I very rarely would buy myself anything. And so when I saw what he paid for one dress for me, and I'm like, honey, I could have spent that on all 3 of the kids.
Had to bring her up.
Yeah, he had to bring me up, but also, I had to reel him in. Like, baby, no, we're a blended family raising 4 kids
talking
now.
About reeling me in. I'm a big catch, baby.
Yes, you're a big catch, baby. A big catch. You're my big catch. But so you have to learn, like, how to work through things, work through your strengths and your weaknesses. And so that will create a harmony that now you are fighting together and not at each other.
Right.
You have to find that harmony. And harmony is not something that you just, automatically have. Harmony is one of them things you got to roll into. You got to flow in it.
Right.
It's like puzzle pieces. Once you ever work in a puzzle and it's just like those last three pieces, you just can't quite figure out which one, it just don't fit right. But once you find that missing piece and put it in the right slot, you be like, dang, there it is. That's how it is in marriage. Yeah. You have to flow until you find that harmony, till y'all so intertwined that nothing can come between you.
That's what
nothing.
That's what I'm about to say.
Go ahead, baby.
You have to watch that circle though. When you going in, you falling into that flow, and you are around couples that's bickering and talking about each other and all these things. You got, that's a conflict. Mm-hmm. That's a conflict, because one thing with my wife and I, we are spirit led. Mm-hmm. We know that spirits transfer. We know that they can jump on and keep rolling right on into this house with us after we done come from around that circle of marriages that's talking negative to each other, cussing each other, saying things about each other, and then bring it right into this door. And then here come, how do you handle the conflict? Mm-hmm. We done said something negative that we done heard from those couples and brought it right in the house. So that's a conflict.
It is.
That's a conflict.
It is. And so I use that example too. Like when we first got married, like there was a couple that we used to be around for a short period of time. And like the wife was very negative, like always saying, well, I ain't messed up about him. I don't need my husband. And I'm like, hold on. And I would find myself, if I was around her, then I would come home and start being like just aggravated at my husband for no reason. And I'm like, hold on. We got to check this. We got because I need my husband. I love my husband. I want my husband. I ain't one of them wives out there that's saying, I don't need a man. I need my husband. And so if you're around a circle of people that women, I'm speaking to the women in particular. If you're a woman and you're around women that still have anger at men, and it still is holding on to something that happened in the past relationship or whatever. And anytime you go and you want to talk to them and they want to give you an advice about handling your marriage, baby, that ain't the ones you need to be talking to. They will break up your marriage and then laugh behind your back because, girl, she listened. I told her or said this to her, whatever, and she went along with it. And now they ain't even married no more. They ain't going to be doing nothing but talking about you, and you just missed out on what could have been a great marriage because you're listening at that foolishness. So that ain't what you want. So you have to watch who you are even talking about your spouse with. Like, that is something we're very protective of. You're not going to hear me bad mouthing my husband in front of his face, behind his back, or no time am I going to bad mouth my husband, especially in public. Like, that's one of the things, women and men, we have to watch. You can't be in public talking and treating your spouse any kind of way, because if you don't respect them in public, guess what? That gives somebody else the idea, I can talk to her like that, or I can treat him like that too. Oh, no, baby. No. So you want to watch how you treat your spouse in public. You can have your disagreements, behind closed doors and everything, but when you're in public, you need to act like everything is 100% good, even if it's not.
Well, like I told you, when you see the Robinsons, we're going to exemplify what love is all the time. No fake. No fake. Because we ain't worried about nobody else. I mean, this is it.
Yes.
I'm it. And that's it. So we're gonna have this journey, living for Christ, let him be the head of this household, with me in charge. If that's however you want to word it. But the bottom line is, we gonna be on one accord when it comes to everything. We're gonna be on one accord. We cannot let the conflicts of the street come into the house. So it's very important that you and your spouse is on one accord when it comes to discussing things. Where you been? Do y'all pray? Come and see. That's one thing my wife and I do. We'll pray coming up in this house. When we know we've been in a environment where we ain't participating in a lot of things, but a lot of things going down.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, being a Christian don't mean you're gonna be up in the house and away from all this going on. It's here.
Exactly.
You just gotta walk and not just talk it. So we get in together, and we make sure that these conflicts are dealt with on one accord, though.
Exactly.
That's the key. We deal with them on one accord. When it's said and done, we're gonna solve the problem together.
Yes. So, and you got to deal with them. That's the thing. You got to deal with conflict. You can't ignore it. It's not going anywhere. I don't know who told you that lie, that, you know, you just avoid it. You just avoid it. You just avoid it. You keep avoiding it. And like I said, before you know it, it's a mountain that built up between the two of you. And you really just don't even like each other, don't want to be with each other anymore, because you've avoided conflict so much that now that's become like your nature. And then another thing, if kids are involved, what we see, again, we're marriage counselors, so we talk to all type of relationship, you know, deal with all type of relationship with people. And what we find is that people use their kids and their life revolve around their kids, whether it's sports or band or music or whatever it is, their kids and their kids' activity, so they can avoid each other. And then once the kids get up on their own and they're ready in their teenage years where they're ready to do their own thing, now it's just you and your spouse, and y'all don't even know each other because y'all have avoided each other. You use your kids as an scapegoat to let your life revolve around them, to the fact that you don't even know each other no more. So now you're sitting trying to figure out, who is this? You know, who am I married to? I don't even know this person no more. I don't even know, you know. And that it shouldn't be like that, because one of the things you got to realize is that God bless us with children, but they're going to go on with their life. Your spouse is for life. That's eternity. Like that, you're supposed to be with that person until death do you part. And so the kids can't trump the marriage. It's got to be, as the Bible said, God is the head of the house, the husband, the wife, the kids, and everybody below that. But you cannot put your kids above your spouse or revolve your life around your kids and ignore your spouse. It's not going to work. The marriage is not going to work. Or let me say it like this, because people do just stay together just to stay together, but they're just existing. You may have the years under your belt of being together, but you're not enjoying life. You're just existing. You're not thriving in the marriage. You're not in purpose. You're not doing anything that's exemplifying a happy marriage. It's just existing. You're just going through the motions.
Yeah, and I just can't handle when somebody say they've been married for 30 years and not happy.
And sleeping up in different rooms and all, y'all, trust me, we've heard a lot. I ain't gonna say we've heard it all, but we've heard a lot over all of this time that God has blessed us to be marriage counselors and just, you know, imparting into marriages. But you guys, I ain't seen no questions. I haven't seen any questions properly.
That's saying right. Share any the video.
Questions, go ahead and share the video, because our time has come to an end. We have enjoyed our time with you guys, but we got a life that we want to get on to. So we love you guys.
But I do want to say, Bone of My Bone will be back.
Yes, we're on every other Thursday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be on all our social media platforms. And sometimes we'll, you know, do some little snippets in between or whatever. But those times we set to come and just share with you guys and spend time with you guys.
And also we are trying to get to the point of every once in a while we get a guest.
Yes, we do. We get guests on sometime too. So, hey, you keep following us, reach out to us if you would like to come on and discuss a topic. Also, if there's topics that you guys want us to discuss and talk about, please send us an email, or let me put the information on right quick so you can get all of the ways that you can follow us. Is right there across the bottom of your screen. Those are all the platforms that you can follow B.O.M.B Marriage on. And then if you would like our website, let me put that on there. There's our website. So if you have any questions, that's the way you contact B.O.M.B Marriage right there. www.bombmarriage.org.
And you can book us also.
You can book us there. You can send your questions there. You can, if you want marriage counseling, you can reach us through there. All of those sources are on your page right now. So we love you guys. We have enjoyed hanging out with you guys, and we will be back on in not next Thursday, but the next Thursday.
Yes.
So you have been on with us with B.O.M.B Marriage, bone of my bone, marriage of the heart. We love you guys. Good night.
See you next time.